JBNN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Canadian PM to vacation in Jamaica for 1 week. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is set to visit Jamaica for a 1-week vacation with his immediate family after the Christmas holidays. Despite it being a personal travel vacation, multiple protocols will be followed, according to the office of the Canadian Prime Minister, which noted that Trudeau will remain in constant contact with Ottawa during the trip and continue to be briefed and updated on issues. The office said it checked with the Federal Ethics Commission in advance of the travel to make sure it follows guidelines. It is also required that the Prime Minister must fly in a Royal Canadian Air Force plane for security reasons, even if it's for personal travel. This is the latest trip by the Canadian Prime Minister to the region, as the family ventured to Costa Rica in 2019 and to the Bahamas in 2016. Man gunned down in Little London. The Westmoreland police are probing the fatal shooting of an unidentified man along the New Hope Main Road in Little London on Friday morning. Reports are that residents heard loud explosions shortly after 12 midnight and summoned the police. On arrival of the lawmen, the body of the victim was seen lying along the roadway beside a bicycle with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to his head. He was assisted by the police to the Savlamar Public General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Woman stabbed to death in Spalding altercation. A female suspect is now in police custody following a dispute in which she allegedly stabbed to death a woman in Spalding at the Manchester-Clarendon border. Preliminary reports are that shortly before 3 p.m., the two men were involved in an altercation when one stabbed the other. The police were called and the suspect was arrested. We'll provide you with more details as soon as it's made available. Two guns seized in Portmore, 2 men charged. Police assigned to the Specialized Operations Branch seized 2 illegal guns and arrested and charged 2 men on West Anderson Boulevard, Portmore, St. Catherine on Thursday. Charged with unauthorized possession of firearm and unauthorized possession of ammunition are 21-year-old Akeem Campbell, otherwise called Biggs, of Grantsman Avenue, Kingston 8, and 18-year-old Nishon Bryan, otherwise called Sean, of Anglin Avenue, Newland District, Portmore, St. Catherine. Reports from the Portmore police are that about 5:45 p.m. the team was on operation in the area. Both men were seen acting in a manner that arose suspicion. They were accosted and searched 1 Glock 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 18 9mm rounds was taken from Campbell's waistband, while one Smith & Wesson revolver with 6.3 cartridges was taken from a black knapsack that Brian was carrying. Both men were subsequently charged. Their court date is being arranged. Man arrested after gun and ammo found on roof. A man has been arrested following the seizure of one 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 9 9mm rounds on Malvern Avenue, Kingston 2 on Thursday. Reports from the Elliston Road Police are that about 3:30 p.m. the team was on patrol when the suspect was seen with a gun in his hand. Upon seeing the police, the man ran to a premises and the team gave chase. It was accosted at the back of the premises. A search was conducted and the firearm was found on the roof. He was subsequently arrested. His identity has been withheld pending further investigations. Man stabbed in dispute over goat in St. Catherine. A St. Catherine man has been charged with wounding with intent following an incident in his community on Thursday. Charged is 62-year-old Cleveland Williams, otherwise called Morris, unemployed, of Hilltop, West Prospect in Bog Walk. Reports from the Bog Walk police are that Williams and a neighbor had a dispute over a goat, during which Williams allegedly used a knife to stab the man in his abdomen. The man was taken to hospital where he was treated. A report was later made to the police, and Williams was subsequently arrested and charged after a question and answer session. He is scheduled to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday, December 30. Man charged after allegedly attempting to rape disabled woman. A St. Catherine man has been slapped with several charges after allegedly attempting to rape a disabled woman in his community. Anthony Peters, otherwise called Zeeks, 27-year-old unemployed of March Street, Redwood in the parish, has been charged with burglary, indecent assault, and assault occasioning bodily harm. Reports from the St. Catherine North Police are that on Saturday, December 17, about 3:35 a.m., Peters broke into the home of the disabled woman and attempted to rape her. However, a relative of the woman who had been visiting her surprised Peters, who assaulted both women before escaping through a window. According to the police, prompt intervention by detectives led to Peters' capture and arrest. He is scheduled to be arraigned on Friday, December 30. Guy Zillman accused of pistol whipping two others at a party. A man from St. Catherine has been slapped with several charges after he allegedly used a firearm to hit two men in the face at a party on Guy Zillman Road in the parish on Saturday, December 1. Charge is Javoni Hart, otherwise called Flex, 31-year-old of Guysill in the parish. He has been charged with possession of prohibited weapon, using firearm to commit a felony, possession of firearm with intent to injure, unauthorized possession of firearm, assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, assault occasioning bodily harm, malicious destruction of property, and unlawful wounding. Reports are that Hart was at a party when he got into an altercation with two other men. He reportedly approached them and used a firearm to hit them in their faces. One of the victims suffered a broken front tooth and another was dislodged. Hart also allegedly destroyed another man's cell phone before fleeing the scene. He was later apprehended by the police and charged for the crimes. He is scheduled to be arraigned on Friday, December 30. No need to change sentencing guidelines, says Green. Attorney at law and president of the Advocates Association of Jamaica, Leonard Green, says he does not see the need to change the sentencing guidelines for people who plead guilty to murder. Green was addressing recent comments by Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn, who said she'll be making a recommendation to the executive that the guidelines be changed. Llewellyn said she'll be recommending that in certain cases, the starting point for a sentence of life imprisonment for murder be increased from 30 to 40 years before eligibility for parole. But Green does not believe that this would be an effective deterrent to potential offenders. I think that when you have a severe sentence, the primary function is really the certainty of the punishment and not the severity of the sentence. The person who goes on the road and commits a crime, shoots somebody in a plaza, does not, in my respectful view, think necessarily of the sentence he is likely to get. He is more concentrated on the likelihood of getting away with it, he argued. I think that when you have a severe sentence, the primary function is really the certainty of the punishment and not the severity of the sentence. The person who goes on the road and commits a crime, shoots somebody in a plaza, does not, in my respectful view, think necessarily of the sentence he is likely to get. He is more concentrated on the likelihood of getting away with it, he argued. Green said while he understands that the families of murder victims would want longer sentences for convicts, this does not justify the change being recommended by the DPP. Somebody who spent 30 years in prison when they come out, and let's say that person was 20, they come out at 50. Let's say they are 30, they come out at 60. It's almost your entire life of incarceration. And those are the things we have to think about. Should they never be released from prison? He questioned. Green suggested that the country should let the judges decide on the circumstances of each case and give appropriate sentences in line with the current guidelines. New Fortress spreads Christmas cheer to 600 families. 600 vulnerable families and Shottings from Old Harbour, Hayes and Montego Bay won the government's PATH program were overjoyed when presented with hampers of food and personal care items by the New Fortress Energy NFE Foundation. New Fortress said the packages, which included chicken and a Christmas cake, contained items to last a family of 5 for about 1 month. Verona Carter, Vice President at New Fortress Energy, said, "We are always looking for meaningful and practical ways to help those who are most vulnerable in our society because giving back is at the heart of who we are at NFE. We are happy to partner with Food for the Poor Jamaica for the 3rd consecutive year to deliver food packages to these families, especially at Christmas, so that they can enjoy a proper meal with their families and loved ones this holiday." The initiative, which first started during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, when the first community in Hayes, Clarendon, was placed under quarantine, was done in partnership with Food for the Poor Jamaica and supported by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, which manages the PATH program. Kivette Silvero, Executive Director at Food for the Poor Jamaica, explained that, on any given day, we get requests of thousands of people who need help, and the number of these requests double at this time of the year. As a charity, we rely purely on donations and partnerships with companies like New Fortress Energy to help as many people as possible. We commend NFE Foundation for always leading with their hearts and would like to invite more of corporate Jamaica to partner with us so we can help even more people because the needs are indeed great. In addition to the food hampers, New Fortress Energy Foundation also donated toys to more than 3,500 children during its Christmas treats held recently. Santa Claus, balloon animals, clowns, rides, food and entertainment were the order of the day at the Old Harbour Bay Development Centre in Old Harbour Bay and the Wellness Centre in Hayes, Clarendon, where NFE held its annual Christmas treats. Lorraine Cousins, chairman of the Refinery Community Council for the Port and Refinery Committees in Hayes, said, "The children are always very excited to get a present from Santa Claus, and this is something they look forward to ever since NFE started its Christmas treats in 2018. Even during the COVID pandemic, they still found a way to get toys to the children, and that says a lot about his hearts and commitment to giving back. On behalf of all the children and the families in the communities, I say a big thank you to NFE for all it does." In sports news, Windies women endure on a low. England win 5th T20. The year ended badly for West Indies women as they slipped to a huge T20 defeat at the hands of England women again at the Kensington Oval in Barbados on Thursday night. Batting first after being sent in, West Indies failed to make use of a good service on a cool evening at the historic venue. They were bowled out for a mere 43 runs of 16.2 overs. Teenager Janiba Joseph was the only batter to reach double figures. She made 11 off 22 balls, batted for 45 minutes and held firm as wickets fell all around her. She eventually lost patience and skied an attempted loft drive to give Nat Saver a third catch. It was the first of 3 wickets for Alice Davison Richards. At the top of the innings, Seema Freya-Davies was also lethal as she captured the key wickets of skipper Haley Matthews 8 and Rashida Williams without scoring. Davies returned to get her third wicket at the end of the innings. England then motored to the target, reaching 44 for 2 of 5.3 overs to register another emphatic win. Nat Scaver made 20 not out of 12 balls, which included 2 boundaries through mid-wicket. It was England's 5th win of the series and confirmed their dominance over the home side. Earlier on the tour, they had a 3-0 victory in the One Day International Series at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. Having failed to secure a victory, West Indies will need to show more improvement when they head off to South Africa for the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in 6 weeks, and the Windies will again face England in the preliminary round. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.